What's up, guys? It's your girl Maccouture with Maccouture Crafting. Fall has finally fallen on Disneyland parks, and I want to go through and show you guys some of the food and the merch and the rides, the things that I really enjoyed during this season. And then we will wrap it up with a project that I think is super on trend and super important if you're planning on doing a t-shirt quilt or a memory project or something along those lines. All right, guys, let's go. If I haven't told you guys, this drink is the epitome of the fall season. It has pumpkin cold foam on top, brown sugar syrup, oat milk, and it's a chai tea latte with caramel drizzle. I suggest you guys try it.
Boys and girls of every age, would you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see. It's our town of Halloween. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Pumpkins scream in the dead of night. This is Halloween, everybody make a scene. Drink or treat till the neighbors die of fright. It's our town, everybody scream. In this town of Halloween. Bum, 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 ba-da. Bum, 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 ba-da. I am the one hiding under your bed. Teeth ground sharp and I fall out. I am the one hiding under your stairs. Fingers like snakes and spiders on my head. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Halloween, 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 Halloween. Now scream! He used the clown with the terror of free! He is a flash and gone red! Falling on the room and fall who's there? I am the wind blowing through the This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Halloween, 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 Halloween. Now scream! And there are things everywhere. Life's no fun without a good stare. That's our job, but we're not me. In our town of Halloween. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Halloween, 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 Halloween. now scream. In this town we call home. Everyone hail to a pumpkin song. Halloween, 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 Halloween. Beside town, everybody scream. In this town of Halloween.
guys, before I lose the light, let me tell you guys why I think this project is so interesting and so important. Yes, it's just a pillow. However, memory quilts and t-shirt quilts and memory projects are all the rage. Like, people are always constantly asking, well, what do I do? Where do I start? Well, the first thing you're gonna have to do is try to put a backing on it or something to stabilize it, and this is how you do it. So this way you can test it. You can test your projects, you can test your t-shirts, you can test your ties with this. So yes, try this, and don't feel like you have to stick to SF 101, which is by Pellon. You can actually use a number one of their interfacings that is fusible on one side. They have different ones depending upon the type of fabric that you're using, how heavy it is. SF 101 would be great though for your t-shirts that are 100% cotton. It'll probably work with everything, but I love the way that it feels and the way that it moves once you stabilize it. It's just so much easier to sew. So again, try it out. And yes, this project seems very, very simple, but it's important because people are constantly talking about t-shirt quilts and memory quilts and where to start. And this is just a great way to test it. All right, guys, I'll see you on my next project. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye-bye. So when I was shopping, I saw this shirt, and it's cool, but I don't like how choppy that purple and that orange is. But this onesie was perfect. Look at that blend. Those colors were just calling to me. Now, I can't fit a onesie, so I had to figure out what on earth I was going to do with it. So I went to my local Joann's and I started looking at Pellon because I'm thinking about doing a t-shirt quilt just like everybody else. So this is the Pellon section. This is what it looks like. Stay away from sew-in interfacing. That's not what you want. You want to see the iron right there, just a little iron. And you want to find a fusible that's going to work for your material. So maybe it's a t-shirt, maybe it's a tie. And they have all of these also in these pre-cut packaging if you don't see it on the bolt, because the bolts were skimpy at the Joann's that I was at. And see how they're different? Yes. Don't be scared. Try it. So I bought the onesie in 24 months. I thought if I got it in 24 months, that would give me the image lower. It doesn't, but I was okay with where this landed. It wasn't a big deal to me. So I'm cutting off the bottom above the sew line, and I'm cutting to the left to make sure that I'm not getting the you know, where you've sewn, where it's been sewn. So I'm just trying to get just the t-shirt part. I don't want any seams if I don't have to, and I'm cutting right below that neck. And I'm not cutting perfectly straight, obviously, because I'm going to cut it down after I stabilize it. And so now I'm just looking to see how big of a shirt I can get, or how big of a pillow I can get. See, it already has interfacing on it because they've done some embroidery on this. I really like this shirt because this shirt has vinyl, embroidery, and flocking, like a velour kind of on there. So there's a lot happening on this little onesie. So this is the SF 101, and I'm cutting it down to be sure that I get it all the way to the edges. So I'm cutting it a little bit larger. I'm not worried about it sticking to my my ironing surface because I'm going to use a non-stick. And it's face down, so the sticky part is actually, any overhang of the sticky part is actually on that non-stick sheet there. And now I'm just going to cut it down and square it up. And yes, you can see that I've gotten the sleeves, and if you're doing onesies, you probably will too. You might get the sleeve. You just got to be okay with it. But once I stabilized it, I really didn't have a big issue. So now I'm being sure that I have at least a ½ inch around the image so that it won't get caught in the seam allowance. Then I grabbed some black and white polka dot fabric that I had in my stash. Stash, that's funny. And I cut it the same size. I was able to get an 8x9 out of this onesie. And then I thought, that's too plain. So I happen to have some of these very expensive, why is trim so expensive at Joann's? But I happen to have some from an earlier project. And I thought this would be a great time to use it because when else am I going to use this trim? I just don't know why I even own this trim really. Well, it was for that project, but whatever. It comes out really cute. So if you ever get to a corner and it's not moving, you know, well, just go ahead and snip into it just a little bit, and then it goes right around that corner. It makes a nice little box for you. And we're going to take the pom-poms and we are going to just clip them all around and make sure that they're right and they're not twisted up. And then we'll do a little bit of an overlap. You can cut the little bobble off if you need to, if you don't like that look. And then I basted this on here. I'm not actually sewing at like a 2.5 or a 2.0. I'm sewing at like a 4.5 right now. And I'm just basting this on to the backing. And the backing, as you can see, is right sides up. And I am sewing this right sides together. You can see that the right side is clearly up. And I just go around it, baste it, and then overlap it. And then I cut off that extra pom-pom because it was just too much bulk in that area. Now we're going to do right sides together, and we're going to clip around the sides. I really like the way this SF101 feels. I like the way that it moves. It really does help stabilize it. I'm just marking a little hole there so that I'm sure not to sew all the way around because I will forget just that quick, and that'll tell me to start and stop. Now I'm making sure that this is a little bit wider than 1/4 of an inch. I don't think I went all the way to 1/2 of an inch, but you know, I just opened it up just a little bit just to make sure that I got that I covered the basting section is what I'm trying to say. I did not want any of the basting showing. And see, when I get to that little red mark, I'm going to back up and go forward and back up and go forward. Just to be sure to leave a hole so that I can turn this project inside out. And I'm backing up and I'm going forward. Then I will snip my threads. And there you have it. This project is really just this easy. But I'm telling you, t-shirt quilts are all the rage, and memory projects, and just things of that nature. People are always wondering, well, what do I stabilize it with? Well, where do I start? Well, this is a great place to start, guys. I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and clip those in so that I can turn it easier so there's not so much bulk in the seams. I am not clipping the threads. I'm clipping right in front of the threads. It's like a little X there. Don't clip the threads. Clip close to the threads and just reduce the bulk. One of my favorite things to do is to turn stuff inside out. I don't know why I get such joy from doing it. So the hole might not look large enough, especially with these pom-poms, but it totally was. That hole's probably 2.5, maybe 3 inches. And I just turn that thing back right there just a little bit so that I can see where I'm going to be sewing, because I'm going to hand sew this to close it up. So I'm just pushing it back and kind of looking at it. I probably put a few dabs of glue. I'm good for that. I'm good for gluing it backwards. It just makes it easier, guys. So that way when you sew it together, you're not fighting with trying to figure out where on earth that seam is supposed to go. And here I am fidgeting and playing, and now we are going to start turning it inside out. Oh my. So exciting. Again, you wouldn't think that this hole was big enough to turn it inside out, but it totally is. You just have to go slow and work your way. And those little bobbles are on there pretty good, so you could actually tug on those pretty good. And there you have it. It's inside out. Now it's time to stuff it. And I didn't use even really 1/4 of this stuffing, this 100% polyester stuffing. So I fluff it and then stuff it. And stick my little fingers in there and just start in those corners and fluff and stuff until you're happy with the shape of your pillow. And then I use a needle and thread to close up that little hole on the side. And because you've sewn it already one side to this to the puffs, you really only have to sew one side the way that it works out, which is kind of cool. So I'm just sewing one side really to the pom-poms, and it works out just fine. I am not the best hand stitcher, not my gift yet. I will probably get better with practice, but at this point I just sewed it closed. And it's cute. And then I just fluffed and fluffed and fluffed. You guys, this is a really cute little project. This is going in my car because I really like little pillows in my car lately. I don't know why. But again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Dust off that polyester, and there you have it. Just a cute little project. Let me know if you guys try it. Thanks again so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.